Good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. We have some technical issue just with chat. Chat works separately, and we are like waiting when company who created this chat will do something with that. But unfortunately, for now, I cannot see you. I can see that you are there, but I cannot read your messages and I cannot respond to your questions. But I hope it will be restored during the stream. If not, then you can write me your messages and your questions after the class, for example, by email, and I will be happy to answer. It's normally it's all working, but today we have this special Friday evening. I hope that this broadcast will run smoothly. I hope YouTube will work, and I hope you will enjoy, even though we cannot really chat at the moment. Welcome to my wet felted strawberry class. My name is Yara. Yaroslava Troinic is my full name. Yara is short. I'm a felt maker. I do felting for 13 years. And my biggest passion is finger puppets and hand puppets. I do them mostly. And I also like to meet you online and do some free classes together. Because normally I'm fully concentrated on my own projects. So, but it's a lot of funny and cute ideas come to my mind, and I normally don't have time for it. So I settled these free classes where I can really give them a chance to be created, and I'm happy to share with you. Don't underestimate these tiny, cute workshops. It's a strawberry. Maybe it's not a very necessary thing in your life, but if you are learning felting or just like me, never have time for some tiny fun, so this is the moment. You can learn how to felt, you can get some nice and interesting tricks, you can improve your own technique, you can get a lot of ideas. So I really appreciate this kind of classes for this kind of inspirational kettle which is boiling in your head after the class, and you never stop with one because of those ideas. They're like really back in your head and you want to give them a chance to be realized. So tonight we will make this small and cute strawberry. It's 99% wet felted and can be even 100% wet felted. But I will show you different options, how to use needle felting technique, how to work without it, give you ideas about patterns, about different types of wool, and about decorations. So yesterday I was running the same class in Russian language, and it took about 1.5 hours. So we will be today also staying in this timing. But because now chat is not working, maybe it will be even shorter because I'm not able to communicate. But please don't give up. Prepare your wool, prepare whatever you brought to the class, and let's start working together. Before I move my camera to my work table, I just remind you that you can, if something doesn't work with video, you can always refresh the page. It's a key button F5, or just a sign of this round arrow, and refresh your browser and press the blue button again. So you will join the stream then. In case of like, if nothing is working for you, you cannot see even video, you can write to the main chat, which is black round square, black round circle on the bottom of the web page, and this is our main chat. We don't chat there for my class, but only you write there now if you have some technical issues that you are not able to watch. So my colleague will help you, give you some link to watch or give you some suggestions how to deal. Otherwise, if this chat, which is now not working, will be restored, then we will put all our questions and I will reply directly with that box which doesn't work now. Now I will move computer camera to my work table and we will start creating strawberries. Before we start, just I will remind you that just above the screen which you watch now, there is link to download list of materials and pattern which you can print, and if you don't have printer you can just draw it simply from the screen and use. Also, for this class you really don't need to be precise with pattern. You can draw your own pattern and it will work perfect. This one, what I use now, it's just an example. It can be smaller size, bigger size, different shape, and it will work still. My pattern about 7 to 6 centimeters, like 6 tall and 7 tall and 6 wide, and it will create this size of strawberry. And depending on how much wool you will use, the size will change accordingly. So in case if you want much smaller strawberry, then you can simply make this pattern smaller. Just cut off some part of it and it will be smaller. If you want bigger, then you need to use a lot of wool and make much bigger. But even with this pattern, we will correct the size depending on amount of wool. We will stuff the wool inside. So depending on how much, how tight you will stuff it, the size will change according to that. So this was like about 4 grams, 3 to 4 grams. It can be 2 grams. You see this is smaller and it's 2 grams and it's the same pattern here. So it depends on amount of wool, size change. Talking about wool, we start with wool. Pattern can be done out of anything, plastic bag, a bit thicker. This is what I use is underlay for laminate floors, but really it can be cut out of any plastic bag or bubble wrap or something like that. About wool, I will give you one remark. If you are first time here, I have a lot of free classes which you can watch, some of them in Russian language, but lately I've been making all my free classes also in English. So you can watch, you can go to the free workshop page and drag any of classes you like and watch. Even though streams were running a long time ago, they are all recorded, so you can watch. Same goes for my main classes, which also were in format of streaming. If I was teaching some puppets before, all those classes are recorded, so you can really buy record and it works as good as like live class. But in August, my work season will start again, and I will invite you to the new fresh streams. So about wool, I will give you very short explanation on the wool part, because this particular thing can be done out of any wool. If you have coarse wool, you can use. If you have extra fine or fine wool, you can use. If to put it very short, there are what I use and what I will talk today about. There are only 2 types of wool what we can use now. It's either it's carded or combed. So carded wool has no direction of fibers. It's like a cotton, very mixed. And combed, it's all the fibers brushed to one direction. so we can really lay it out and make it very durable and very strong structured felt. For this strawberry today, every wool you have will work. Doesn't matter if it's combed or if it's carded, if it's coarse. This is coarse wool I have, it's Berkshire, it's about 30 microns. And this is extra fine merino in tops, which is 18 microns. So you see it's quite a big difference, but it will still work out perfectly. The only difference will be a little bit how we start to lay out and then the surface. In the end, when you use more thin fibers, the surface is a little bit more smooth. So with these coarse fibers, it will be a little bit hairy, but we can trim the surface and it will look again very nice. I just can suggest you that if you, for example, plant this strawberry as a accessory, for example, like a brooch, so then I would maybe go for fine fibers to make it like more like smooth surface. But if it's interior objects or toys, they can be rough and they will look also lovely. I like rough coarse wool, it looks nice. But for some projects, I still prefer fine wool. And then strawberries, you can choose colors you like. Strawberries, they can be fantasy strawberries, they can be more natural looking. In the nature, they can be very light, they can be white, they can be pinkish, they can be very bright red, they can be even like wine color, almost black, and for sure they can be fantasy color. If you use fantasy colors, then you need to be more accurate with shape, because when we use very stereotypical colors, we can make any size and shape of strawberry, just a red color with a green tip and some seeds, and then it's recognizable strawberry. If you do it from purple or blue color, then you need to be very precise with shape, so we can guess the berry by shape. Otherwise, if shape is not really correct and also color is not strawberry color, so then we cannot really recognize. But for sure, it can be fantasy berry also. This what we do today is like a training for creativity, some techniques, and also it's like a starter, starter for your future projects. Because for sure, based on this pattern, based on this technique, you can create a lot of things. Especially you can create a lot of berries, vegetables and fruits, because as you see, most of fruits and vegetables, they have same idea, green tip and then some kind of body. So even from this red, I can see already like chili pepper can go, aubergine can go, like pears, other like plums and other berries. So you name it. So take it as a idea today, techniques and idea. But I hope you will enjoy this strawberry itself, because it looks cute and very like tasty. And now it's in Finland, at least it's strawberry season. And I was just yesterday picking strawberries from field, and it was big fun. By the way, talking about strawberries, I have one. It's not that fresh looking anymore, but just to show you that my strawberries about the right size to the fresh one, like real one. They can be bigger, smaller, for sure. Shape can be different, can be longer, can be kind of double, like a heart shape, long, like pepper. It's so many breeds exist. So just feel free to create your own. And I will suggest you for future and for now, watch pictures of real ones. It's not that you don't remember how strawberry look like, but you always, when you watch when you have an idea and you start research and you watch pictures very carefully, you get some great details. You see the seeds and you understand, oh, actually, these my new beads I bought yesterday, they will fit perfectly. Or like, oh, that I have this old, I don't know, lace, which can fit nicely like this green tip, and it will look beautiful. Or some idea of color, shape, you know, it's always gives you some special details which make your work more alive. Because I was not trying to be very strict, like, and make as good like naturally looking strawberry as possible. Not at all, but I was trying to make it as live as possible. I didn't try to copy the nature. I just tried to kind of make uh, very fresh and kind of naive but still alive thing. So today we will learn how to do that, and I hope everything will go good. By the way, here is another example uh, of strawberry. You see, it's done from basically same pattern. This pattern was just a little bit more like a heart shape. I wanted to make it for Valentine Day, so I made a heart and attached this tip like a strawberry has. So it's flat, but it's done the same way like we will do today, just we will not stuff it, but keep it flat, but otherwise felting and all the details, they're absolutely the same. So you see a lot of things coming from this flat pattern. So about wool, we talk a little bit, and then about decorations. You can use some shiny, glossy fibers if you have. For example, viscose really work nice. It's quite budget material and it gives quite strong gloss compared to silk. Silk looks amazing, but because we will shrink our strawberry a lot, so part of decorations will be eaten. So when you put a little bit of silk on top, it will be mostly disappearing and sucking into the fibers, especially if you use coarse wool. But this viscose is so shiny, so it will be partly eaten, but what will remain on the surface will give like silky shine, very gentle and beautiful. And also because it's glossy, it's also remind berry like surface better. But a woolly one is also beautiful. I just give you idea that it's always possible to add something to decorate. I have one strawberry here. I will show you this one. I don't know if you can really see the gloss, but it has actually, I'm trying now to, yeah, I put more sharp. It has some gloss from viscose part. For comparison, this is fully hairy, so a little different. And also here you can see the difference on this berry. I attached as a seeds, I attached beads. On this one, there is embroidery done afterwards. I like a lot the embroidery option. It's my favorite, but still beads look also nice and also very decorative, especially if you do accessory with that. But it's up to you. I just give you some idea. And here there is no any attachments of no sewing on here. It's all done with wool. So these seats, they're fully felted. I will show you this option also, but I don't prefer this option for the reason that for this tiny scale work, it's very little, like it's almost impossible to make smaller dots, smaller seeds. So they look more like a dots. Also cute, but also for me they're a little bit plain. I prefer embroidery or beads because it's different texture, look more alive. But I will give you all three options so you can use whichever you like. And now we can start felting. And before we lay out, I just tell you one last thing about wool. Normally, I work with combed wool. It's my favorite because I can build a strong structure for my toys, keep symmetry and flexibility, and I like that it's very durable. Carded wool felted much faster normally, but also lose shape faster. It doesn't mean that it will lose shape. I just mean that if you make something which you plan to use for long, so in the long term, carded piece will deform a little bit faster than made of combed wool. But in this interior object, it really doesn't matter. We can really just use anything we have. I will start showing you with carded wool just for a minute how you lay out this. And then I will go to my normal work. Wool is combed merino. So carded, remember that I was telling you that this the whole thing about like between 2 to 5 grams, depending on the size you want. So here we don't need to spend too much time for making perfect layout because we will stuff the toy a bit later, and stuffing will compensate all in like uneven spots. So what I do, I just organize one layer of fibers on top of the berry like this. So a little bit of fibers coming out of the pattern. For folding, we need it like this. And then I put a green tip on top. So just some amount of what you prepared, like this. And that's your layout. It's done. For carded wool, it takes a bit longer, but I will do that way also. So if you do carded, you just prepare like this. After that, we will make it wet, a bit soapy. We will turn it, fold it, and repeat on the other side. But I will start layout my strawberry. Just because it's also a little bit more complicated layout, I want you to learn also. So I will take green fibers, and because green tip is very short, I'm not able to place the whole length of fibers. I will shorten them. So I will break them like this and apply only to the green spot. Also, I'm coming out of the pattern a little bit, let's say not more than 1 centimeter, just like this. I will make a little bit under ripened berry with a bit of white here. By the way, white also can be on another side. Different breeds of strawberries, they are ripening differently. So some of them are here keeping a white, some of them getting red here and having a white tip. Depend on your taste, you can apply. So I will also shorten the white because it's not I don't want the whole berry to be pale, so I will prevent it just by shortening. Now I apply my wool in a vertical direction, one layer. Then I will put a second layer completely perpendicular, and then again last layer vertical. Altogether, I will apply 3 layers of wool. So here I apply now the red. You see, I'm not trying to be very accurate. It's just because we will stuff it later. So we don't need to be, we can really do freestyle layout. It doesn't need to be 3 layers, can be 2 layers, can be 1 mixed layer. So it's depends on your taste of layout. But if you do first time, I just show you how I normally do my layouts. So you can try and see if you like it. So second layer, the green tip, it's already fine. I can stop, but I will do as normal. Normally I do 3. I will put 3, and then I will make the last one vertical. So I put 3 layers, 2 verticals, 1 horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical. And carded, it's just 1 layer, but as thick as these 3. So they kind of identical in thickness, but there we apply just 1 layer, and here 3. And now I will place the last layer, number 3. Here, important thing is that when you connect the colors, you always overlap them between. Never put next to each other. You see, white is overlapping red, and red is now overlapping white. Otherwise, you will get uneven layout. Always don't be afraid to mix the colors. So I applied 3 layers. Here is also. And now we do exactly the same thing for strawberry. It doesn't matter what kind of layout you have, out of carded wool or out of combed wool. We bring a bit of water, doesn't matter the temperature. Can be cold, can be hot. We don't mix soap, we just keep clean water. We take a piece of soap, and now we will drip a bit of water through the soap. So I don't make soapy solution for this project because we need very little of soap and water. So it's kind of waste of soap and water if we make solution. Now we press everything flat and wet and soapy. Soapy means that it must be slippery and you can see some kind of tiny bubbles. Don't make it too much soapy. Now I remove this piece of fabric. This is stretchy mesh fabric. It's I bought in the shop with the same tulle for tutu skirts, but a bit of stretchy. If you don't have this kind of thing now, you can use, you can get old stockings and get a piece of it. So it will work the same way. Why do we need this fabric? Because it helps us to start work much faster, because it's kind of laminating our layers of wool, and when we touch, we don't really move it anyhow. Especially it's important if you have a lot of decorations, but it allows us to work much faster. Without it, you need to be very gentle, otherwise you will move the fibers around. So we turn now the strawberry, and we need to fold everything inside now. Idea is to fold as tight as possible. First, I just go around and fold everything on top of the pattern, as tight as possible. If you are not folding it tight and it's hanging from the side, so everything what is extra here hanging will form quite ugly seam, and we don't want it. So make it tight, and then we take scissors and stretch all the fibers, so no bumps and no folds. We need to get rid of all bumps, all folds. If you have too much of this, for example, you put so much wool that it's overlapping and it's huge bumps here. So everything what is unwanted, you collect like this, make this kind of rip and cut off. So don't keep anything here which you don't want to be. If there is this green tip is bothering, it's going too far to strawberry, just cut the edges, so don't let them migrate to the area where they're not supposed to be. So now it looks like this, and I need to repeat myself and lay out same way. So if you used carded wool, you just place one layer of right colors and again put water and soap, turn and fold. So we repeat absolutely same thing on this side. So I will go first vertical layer, so I just repeat everything. Overlapping also, I do double fold. So like this. And then the red color coming first layer. And then opposite direction, perpendicular. So I applied second layer of red, now white. And then a bit of green. And the last layer, red, white, and green. So red. The idea here just to lay out without holes. So when we apply the fibers, we put them a little bit overlapping. So like this, one, next one, not next, but a little bit overlapping. And the next one, a little bit overlapping. So it must be even layers. Now, after class, I will be very, very happy if you send me some pictures of your completed strawberries, because now I'm not able to watch them because of this chat. But you can send it to email, or you can place them to review page. So review pages, when you open my website, there is this learning, and when you press the arrow next to learning, you can see these directories, which is free workshops, and under that it's reviews. So if you logged into your personal account, you are able to leave a review on a review page, and whenever you post review, I'm very happy. The other students also happy to see that somebody achieving things. And then you also get 10% discount for any of my classes. So you will get personal bonus code after you upload your review. So now I repeat the same thing. Put a bit of water, a bit of soap, press it, and turn. We turn and we fold. Here we try to be gentle with folding because it's our visible part. So no any bumps. Try to stretch all the fibers nicely. If you have some spots you don't like, you can hide them with a bit of mixed wool. So for example, if you want it to be more smooth, you can take a little bit of wool, mix it, create like a carded patch, and fix. I do all fixing with carded wool because it's attached much better, because fibers will migrate to all directions and will stick to the surface quickly. So this is my layout, it's done. And at this point we can start felting, unless you want to decorate it. Now, when I'm talking about decoration, I only mean the viscose fibers, not dots, not seeds, just a surface. So when we apply viscose, there are two ways to apply. If you apply direct like this, like it is, like one direction fibers. So when they felt it, they will look like this zigzag, you know, they will be very wavy and very visible. And for this strawberry, maybe it's not a good idea to make it like not smooth. And for smooth surface, we need to mix viscose to card it. So you need to basically mix all the fibers, make many directions. So we split and change the directions. So we need to make it like look like a cloud of fibers with many directions. Then it will give you more smooth and shiny surface. I will apply to one side just to show you how I do it, but in the end of the class you will be not able to see the shine, because when it's wet, surface viscose doesn't shine. So whenever it's dry, it will give you all the shine. But to apply, it's easy. You just place this on top, and that's about it. You see, it was quite easy. And then if you have extra, so you turn it to another side, like this. So now my decorations are done. How to make yellow dots, I will show you a bit later. Now we can start felting. For felting, we need this piece of mesh fabric. And what I do, I cover it both sides like this. And then I check first if it's enough water and soap. So how to check? You apply water and soap and press. If some water is coming, then it's good. If some bubbles are coming, then it's good. If only water comes, just put a bit of soap to your fingers and apply to the surface. So it must be some soap and some water. And then what we do, we start pressing like this, both sides. And whenever we come to the edges, we work from the edges to the surface. So I give kind of massage from both sides. Basically what I do, normally when we have big piece, we cover it and start pressing like this and stroking. So we can also work here the same way, but it's such a tiny piece that it's much more fast to work both sides. So instead of doing this and then turning and doing on another side, I grab it and work both sides. Now you see the soap, it's too much. This is too much because it's not helping but disturbing us to felt. So I will just put it to clean water to get rid of some part of soap. If it's still too much, so just repeat. Doesn't need to be that soapy. Because when it's too much soap, it stays between layers and disturbs the connection. So we continue. I just press and stroke gently both sides. And whenever I come to the edges, I work towards the center to avoid those seams I was explaining. Here also we work, and here. You see, I just press the surface and stroke a little bit. So we don't work for too long, just a couple of minutes. Couple means really couple. So now I will wash it again. I removed fabric and I will examine the surface. So our surface need to be just connected. All the fibers must be connected. How you check it? You simply touch it. So if you touch the fibers and they are not moving, it's good. Good enough, don't do anything else. Just stop. We don't want to overwork. the surface. But if you touch and all the fibers like really moving, like these ones are moving because it's liquid inside. But I mean, if it's like when you just freshly lay out, try to do like this on the layout. You will see like all the fibers following your finger. So if you still have this movement, it means it's underfelted for our needs. So you need to put again your fabric and work a little more until all the fibers are strongly connected. And remember, in the beginning, the most important is a pressure, not stroking, but pressure. So instead of stroking like this, you press and stroke in the same spot. So then it will be much, much faster. Today I have quite a lot of soap for some reason. So this side is completely felted. This where is viscose a little bit more loose, because viscose doesn't felt on its own. Only wool can come from the bottom and catch it. So we will deal with it a bit later, but it's still a little bit attached. So at this stage, when everything is kind of settled, all the fibers, we can cut the strawberry and remove our pattern. Just let me, for a second, I want to check, maybe chat is working again. I will just refresh the page to check, but no any sign of work. So sorry about that. I will continue then. You just watch and try to follow me. And remember, if you're a little bit slower than me, it's completely fine. I know what I'm doing. You do it first time. So it's absolutely normal to work with your own speed. My goal from this class that you understand what you're doing and you enjoy it. So that's the biggest thing that we can learn today. So now I do cut here on top of the green tip. Talking about this tip, I forgot to mention in the beginning that strawberries, they are very different. Some of them, they have smaller, this green part, some really massive and fluffy like flowers. And you see they have like this one very organized and nice with many parts. This is real one. And it's all depend on you. Some of them, they stay like this down. Sometimes you can see they lifted like this up and very fluffy. So depending on your taste and your plan, this can be adjusted. Like if you plant big green leaves here, so you can make this part, plastic part, for the pattern a bit wider. So then you will get bigger amount of green to deal with. But I will have quite nice small green leaves. But remember, this can be extended until you are happy with these leaves. And for sure, for the other vegetables, if they have big green leaves, you can really make it bigger here. So now we open this green part and we can felt it a little bit. So we take a bit of soap to our fingers and hold these green parts and felt them a little bit by pressing with fingers from both sides. So you can feel like these fibers getting more durable. Otherwise, if they are very underfelted, they can just stretch too much and lose shape. So we will felt them a little bit. And you can stretch them a little bit around like this. Just like this. Now we need to remove the pattern. Don't be afraid. Just squeeze the pattern inside and gently pull it out like this. So no more pattern inside. Now we have strawberry look like an empty bag. like this. And now we will stuff it with wool. So here I will just remind you again. So if you want smaller size berry, you stuff less. If you want bigger, you stuff more. But if you want really small, then there is no reason to make such a big pattern. Then you can make smaller pattern, stuff it nicely, but in a small scale, and get your strawberry very tiny. But from this one, even from empty one, I'm able to shrink my toy without stuffing to the small berry, but it will be a lot of effort. So I don't see the reason why would I struggle. Yes, I can shrink it and make nice looking, but it's much longer way instead of making a smaller pattern and stuff it tighter. So, but this strawberry will be the size like real, so I will deal with that. By the way, you see, I all the time give more and more tips. You can also felt the whole strawberry empty and stuff it later with something, like with hollow fiber, or you can put, I don't know, like nice, like sachet, you know, you can put some smelling like aromatic dry flowers inside and put the rope here. It's also possible. So then you just need to felt it completely empty, shrink it, and then in the end you will stuff it and tie it here. It can be also like this, but we will make a figurine strawberry, so we need to stuff it. Now it's empty. I need to prepare wool for stuffing. You can stuff strawberry with some leftovers wool, but remember of colors. If you put purple inside, it will go through. If you have extra fine merino and you stuff it with coarse wool, it will go through. So remember that. It can be also nice looking and fun, but if you want it smooth, you need to stuff it with the same extra fine wool. Then it will look, the surface will be smooth and nice. So I have only a combed wool. We need to stuff it with carded wool. So I need to mix my combed wool into carded. So I will change directions a few times. You see, I pull the fibers and I just put them crisscross a few times. And then now I have many directions, which means they can be felted faster and nicer inside. And I will prepare a couple of grams of my fibers like this. You can also use hand carders, but for this scale of work, I don't really see the reason. You spend more time by cleaning them, you know, than by hands. So I just mix my fibers a little bit, prepare a couple of grams. You can put 2 grams, 3 grams, and so on, as much as it can fit. So I'm preparing the fibers. Here's my fibers. I'm almost complete. I will mix a bit of white for the upper part. And then I will show you how to make a green branch, this tiny one. So a little bit of white, just a little bit, like this. So now I'm prepared with red, with white. It's here. It doesn't really, it's not so much actually. If you put it tight, so it forms quite small strawberry. You can guess like this. Green tip, how to make. So for green tip, I will show you 2 options, one without needle felting and one with needle felting. So we just take a little bit of green fibers and mix it to carded. So for needle felting work, you always need to have carded fibers. just very little. And then what we do, I have here sponge and needles. I fold upper part to make it nicer and thicker. It will be the edge of the branch. And then I roll the whole thing like this to make a stick. After that, I just poke few times with needle, just few times. Needle help us to mix the fibers, so it's very good and useful tool for quick attachments and reshaping things. So it's very useful. So just like this, you see. And now I can roll in my palms, just dry a stick like this. And it's ready. Here we leave a fluffy tip to attach to the strawberry. We can do it fully without needle felting. I will show you. Start is the same. We take a little bit of fibers, mix them. We repeat the whole thing. We fold the edge and roll it to the thin stick like a roll. And then we place it to the mat, put a bit of water and soap. We don't touch this fluffy tip. It's okay if it's wet, but we don't felt it. We hold the whole stick, put a bit of soap, hold it, squeeze it tight, and then we felt it, like rub it on top of this mat. This mat is really a magical tool. It's not just a mat, it's a tool for shrinking, because it has this hard ribs, like tiny hard bubbles. So when I press, they press back and they help me to felt in a deeper layers of fibers. So it's really, really useful tool. I normally buy mine in IKEA, but this kind of anti-slipping mats, they can be bought in many shops. So I just rub it on top of the mat, and you see my stick is like half done. So on top, I'm almost felted it, and here we will attach. So you can use either this option or this. Both are absolutely working. What you prefer. And now for stuffing, we need another helper, and this is chopstick. Chopstick is a beautiful thing for stuffing toys. So I take my fibers, mixed wool, and I will start stuffing little by little. I stuff with fully open and very loose fibers. I never do like this, form kind of a ball and stuff, because then it will be not smooth edges. So open it like this, check out that it's mixed, otherwise it will be badly felted. And then we just start stuffing little by little. Idea is not to stuff it rock hard, but stuff it so there are no wrinkles here. So I will stuff the sides to stretch the wrinkles off. And I will stuff the other side also. And I will continue until I'm happy with how nicely it's filled up. It doesn't need to be like a very, very, again, I will repeat myself, tight, but try not to have this kind of big empty spots. It's okay if they're there, but it will be just more tricky to felt. So. I'm almost there. You see, it's still my strawberry quite softly stuffed. You see, it's not rock hard, but it's, you can see it doesn't have too many wrinkles or empty spots. And I still missing a bit of white on top. So white will go to the white. Just like this. And as a final, we put our stick inside. And then we squeeze this green around. So here you have two options for fixing the green. You can also even poke it inside a little bit with needle if you have, if you don't have needle, so you don't need to poke anything. You can just squeeze it like this. And for example, you can use this. You can use a thread. You can take some thread of any color, doesn't matter, and you can tie it there just like this. So it will hold for a while until it's felted. So you can tie it like this and it's fine. If you have needle felting tools, then it's more like work, but we just poke it here through the green stick, kind of locking it inside, going around like this. So just few pokes to fix this green stick inside. So you can use either a needle felting or tie it with a rope. Normally this thread later will completely disappear and will be eaten, especially if it's matching the color of berry. But if it's visible, you can just pull it out later. So now we can almost start felting, but we need to form these green leaves. So I will cut my green part to few leaves. If you have very little of fibers, don't cut too much. Just cut 5 to 6 of these pieces. If you have big one, you can cut more. And then when I cut them, I will shape them a little bit to more, just a little bit. Don't cut too much of this volume. They don't need to be very, very accurate, because in the nature they're very different shapes. So like this. Now I have it like this. At this point, if you will embroider the seeds, or if you will embroider beads on top, so we can start felting. But if you need the dots made of fibers, then I will show you how. I just will place a couple of them for you to see. So I take yellow wool and I mix it. I even break the fibers to shorten it, because I need super, super tiny fibers to make very small seeds. So I take tiny, tiny bit of it and I poke it on top. Here you only can do it with needle, because if you just simply place this on top, it will be too much spreaded. Yes, you can make them funny looking dots, but you cannot make very small. So if you want dots, yes, you can place them just like that. You can make a bit of like shape of the ball and put them on top, but you see the big size. Smaller size only possible with needle. So I attach few of these tiny yellow dots to examine after class what happened with them. So, and poke them quite nicely. Otherwise they will not stay. So, and when we poke, you see what happened. My strawberry kind of deforming because I'm stitching it through. So it's felting here under the seeds like this. So to bring the shape back, the best tool is awl. So you can just poke it and pull back. So the whole volume. And if it doesn't stay, so you can repeat, attach a little bit. So when everything is attached, if you poke it with needle, it will take some time for you. So just keep your time. If we're done, then we can start felting. And for that, we take a bit of soap and a bit of water. If we have decorations here, we try gently to apply them. Otherwise, we start gently felt. So what I do, I just put little by little water through my berry because inside is dry. And I'm gently rubbing without pressing, just hitting it. You see, just I do like this, hitting. Little by little, I can rotate, I can hit a little bit. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to connect my surface with inside and start to organize it, like felt it towards the center, little by little. And remember, it must be wet. So you see what I do, little by little. If you press too much, you got wrinkles, like for example, like this. You got some wrinkles by pressure. So you can drop it to the water and fill it up with water. You see all the wrinkles are gone now. Also, remember your magic tool, an awl. If there are some wrinkles, you can always pull them out just like this. So now I will try to hit it. Here I hold and felt like this, making it tight, and try to fix my green tip inside. The leaves, you can felt a little bit, each of them with fingers, just to make them more stable. Pressure and work from both sides. And we continue. So here, idea of felting shrinkage is like that. The way you work, the direction you work, the direction it shrinks. So if I want now it looks like tomato a little bit. So if you want your berry to be like, for example, if we make, let's say, chili pepper. So if I want it longer, I will work this way. And it will shrink this way, so it will get little by little more narrow and longer. You see, like this. And if I will work, I want it short, I will work this way. And so the same way it will shrink. So I will start hitting it and working opposite direction. And you see, it will start shrinking this way. So always remember this very simple rule for shrinkage. So you can control it by remembering where to apply your hand strokes, like which direction. So I'm rolling now little by little, hitting little by little, and little by little checking everything. So if you feel that all the fibers moved to the tip, but here very little, remember strawberry shape is like cone, like this way. So we need to reshape it. For that, we open up all the green leaves nicely, like a flowers, like this. And then we place strawberry on top of these leaves, and we start gently reshape it. I press it, and like a sculpture, I take some salt, apply, and start to reshape it. I push the fibers. Here I leave little, and I push them, rearranging them like this. So you see, now it's already a little different shape. So don't be afraid now to rearrange the fibers. And then again, we start hitting and rolling a little bit. So as longer you work, as more dense it becomes. So then you can be more and more active and more apply more strong moves, like all your strengths can go. You can roll a little bit. Remember, if you get big wrinkles, pull them out with the awl and roll and hit. So rolling, hitting, fixing the shape little by little. These green leaves, check them out that they don't stick to the body. And you can felt them also on their own. So what I do, I place them on top of the mat, press with finger and rub a little bit. So they're getting thinner and stronger and nicer looking. You see, if I work this way, they become very narrow. So if I want them shorter and wider, I work towards the center. Then they will get wider and shorter. So we felt every part of the strawberry. Then we will also work on stick itself. So stick we will also roll a little bit. And then continue with strawberry. Now my strawberry is getting stronger, so I can be a little bit more active. I can hit stronger. I can, when I roll, I can give bigger pressure. I will bring some water. You can use hot water to warm up your berry. I use just lukewarm. I personally prefer to work with colder water than hot, but hot water and warm water softening the fiber, so it helps to reshape it more easy. So I continue with my strawberry. Remember the direction I applied, direction is shrink, and now it's getting into cone shape. How long to felt? It all depends on your, for sure there are some rules for quality felt, but it all depends on what kind of purpose you mean for this strawberry. For example, if you make a broth, maybe it's better if it's a bit flat like this, and even you can make it kind of hole inside like this to apply your pin. Then it will stay very nicely on your jacket without hanging out like this. So then it's one thing you can do like this. Then the other thing, if you want it to be like interior piece, it can be rock hard. So then we will felt it until it's really like super strong. It can be softer, but surface must be smooth, has no wrinkles, and shape must be good. So if the surface is flat, I mean smooth, not very hairy, well, it can be hairy because of coarse wool, but you understand what I mean. When it's underfelted, it's bubbly surface, very uneven, a lot of long fibers coming out, a lot of wrinkles, so then it's not ready. But if your strawberry is very smooth and nice shape and everything feels like ready, just it's a little softish, it's okay. When it's become dry, it will be harder. But it's all about your taste now. But still follow the rules of smooth surface and good shape. No wrinkles and nice looking shape. So I'm squeezing it to make it shorter. So here again, as further you go, as more it looks like a clay, you know, and you can really reshape here. For example, if I will start now rolling this way, my strawberry will be reshaped into some pepper. I can start producing some kind of pepper here. If I want strawberry, I will put it back and shape it to strawberry. Tomato, well, it should be different. A little bit pattern must be a bit more roundish on the bottom, but I could make in the beginning by stuffing a bottom part, could make it more like a tomato looking. So as you see now, when I work, I like that we are like potters, you know, we work with clay. And while you're making strawberry, a lot of shapes you see meanwhile. So a lot of ideas come to your head. Oh, actually, I can do this or I can do that just by this move. So it's very nourishing process when you work, when you sculpturing your project. So I'm keeping felting. I'm the person who likes it when it's more felted. So I will keep working for a few minutes more, but my strawberry are almost done. Body definitely, but still green tip must be worked out. I can hold it together and felt rub on top all together, but then I need to open it up and check out what's going on here with all those leaves so they don't stick together. They still very fluffy. I need to felt them a bit more. So here, if you want this green leaf stays like this, so you can place it to the right spots and work like this. So there will be more staying more flat to the body, just like this. You see that then they will stay like this. If you want them up, so then you can work more together, like putting them together. So I need maybe a couple of more minutes for completing my strawberry. Remember that when your fibers are still wet, they feel more like soft. When they dry, they will be harder. I mean, actually, I said something opposite. For example, when we make toy look more flexible when wet, but more like hard by touching. And when it's dry, by touching, it become much softer, but it's not flexible, so it's fixing the shape. So same here. Now it's very flexible, you see, like this. But when we make it dry, it will fix. It will be fixed, and it will not really. You cannot reshape it anymore when it's dry, unless you make it wet again and reshape it. But the surface now feels quite kind of more hard, and when it gets dry, it will be much softer to touch. So now in the last stages you can be more rough. because now there is no empty spaces and everything is quite tight. So we can really apply all our strengths to shrink the berry. You see it shrinking very, very nicely. Now my toy already like hard ball, and I will stop at this stage. Let's check the real model. You see, they're quite similar in size. I will work just for a minute for this green part, and then it will be done. So this green part, I will felt a little bit more. So I will felt the stick itself, rolling on top of the mat, pressing it tight, and making it as strong as possible. And then I will work with these green tips to make them also more strong. It's quite not very comfortable place to work. I mean, these green leaves, but little by little they will get ready. So now I can examine my strawberry. Leaves are felted, stick is felted, it's quite strong, staying strong, not deforming. And strawberry itself, when I press, you see it's resist, it's quite strong. So for me, it looks ready, smooth, not a single wrinkle, everything felted, and I can just go and wash it. I will not move camera to my sink because I will just simply wash it completely from the soap. So I will squeeze it underwater, and the last wash I give is cold. My sink is just here, so you can hear me. I just now washing it. It can have quite a lot of soap inside. I will meanwhile clean the table also for the last part of the workshop. Last wash always cold. Cold water makes the fibers very durable and strong. So wash it properly. Also hands. Now this is my berry. I will just wipe my table to be able to continue work here with embroidery. I really hope you're going fine with your strawberries. I'm sorry I'm not able to chat with you tonight. But if you are not first time here, you know that it's almost never happened like this. Actually, in my almost 2 years of online work, online teaching, it's the second time only when chat is not working. And stream was interrupted only once, so it's quite good numbers for such a long timing. I hope next time it will work fine. So my table is clean, my strawberry is here, and now we can just make it more dry with towel. And we will examine it. So we need now to shape it back a little bit. So I will just shape it nicely. Pull the stick out, roll the stick nicely so it look, you can put it straight or you can put it on the side And then my green leaves. You can roll the tips if you want them more sharp. You can organize them down if you prefer this way, or you can put them up. And if you use a coarse wool, you might have a lot of hair on top. So I normally trim it. You can trim it with, I prefer scissors, just sharp scissors. You can trim the whole thing. Mine, it's with extra fine merino, so it has a little hair, but I like it, it's natural. But if it's coarse wool, it can be too much. So where you feel it's too much, you can cut, especially on the leaves, like on the tips, you can cut some fibers. Then the next thing about these yellow dots. Remember, I was putting the yellow dots. You see, they almost melted inside, but we can restore them a little bit. So we clean the surface on top of them from the red fibers first, like this. You can also just rip the red fibers off a little bit. And then you take the owl and pull them out a little bit, you see? Everything what we put here, it's here. And now it's much more visible. For sure, they're not supposed to be popping out like this. So we will use needle and just put them nicely, make them more shapy, and place them inside. So I just go around it, each of them, just make it more volume and more organized. So you see, it's also possible to make fully out of wool. And this is your seeds here, like this. And we will complete with embroidery. And there are a few options here. You can use normal sewing thread. I have like this sewing thread I've been using on this strawberry. So I was just making with normal usual stitch. I was making these dots. I will show you now. And also you can use thicker fibers like this floss, like it can be wool floss or whatever you find. It's all look nice. So let's see what is possible to make. I will take now this woolly floss just because it's more visible on a wet surface. So when I start, I don't start with knot. So what I do, I go inside like this. I hide the tip inside, and then from the same spot, I go to another directions. And then I repeat again. So I kind of mix the fibers inside, and then I can start embroider. So here you do the simple, just one stitch like this can be enough, but you can do double or even triple if you want it more visible, just one on top of another, and then you go inside on the side, and then you repeat again one stitch. So it's extremely simple technique, but very effective, and also I think it's lovely. I love embroidery. I think felting goes very nicely with embroidery. So then again you can move to another spot and make another seed here. And whenever you're done, you finish the same way. I just put this thread inside and change directions a few times. So this is the seeds, like mine embroidered. They look beautiful. And also you can do for sure more simple technique, look nice. maybe with double layer. So you can simply go like this. Just one line stitch, and it will look also beautiful, a little different, but different style, but also looks really nice. Extremely simple. You go back and forth, and it looks very much like a strawberry seeds. Quite nice. So felted, embroidered. And then the last thing is beads. My beads are here. So I have different types of beads, and you can choose. This is like 2 millimeters, and this is 1.5. But I prefer the smaller ones, which is 1 millimeter. But for 1 millimeter, you really need special bead needles. It's called pearl needles. Otherwise, you cannot really go with your needle through the beads. I will show you how they look like. They look like this. They call something like pearl needle. Very thin. They have numbers. Here I have from 10 to 15, and the thinnest I think is 15 is the right one, which goes through this 1 millimeter beads. And I have it here like this. So I just show you a couple. You start exactly the same way. You put few times this thread inside, so it's stuck there. So you can start work with beads. And then it's exactly same thing. You take a bead, put it to the needle, and make one tiny stitch, and then go to another spot, and you see this here. It's not very visible, so I will take bigger one just for you to show a little brighter. I will take some yellow, more bright ones. So we put one bead and go to another spot, and you see now it's more visible, this seed. So see this here. You can pull it tighter inside. Especially it's good if it's a bit wet, because then when it's wet you can really push it inside, so it will not pop out so much. And when it's dry, it will look nice. So I would embroider it with a bit wet surface if your beads are quite big in size. So then you can really dip it to the body, because when it's wet, it's possible. When it's dry, you will not be able to squeeze it in. So, and then you go one by one and attach it like this, as tight as you like. It can be a little bit, it can be very, very tight, depends on your taste. And then you finish the same way, just hiding this thread a few times inside the strawberry, changing directions, and then you cut. And that's it. I personally lately love to embroider my things. It's really relaxing technique. You can fully concentrate on your project, and it's this project is really achievable, very small and cute. It's nice, lovely summer gift for your friend or for kids, and it just really, how to say, satisfying for us when we are not ready for big projects, and whenever you feel stuck. Lately I've been quite stuck with my creative part. Just like I had a lot of ideas, but I couldn't start making them. Like I didn't have sparkle. And then I started to make strawberries, and you see I ended up with many of them, trying like white one. I tried different technique, I tried different surface, because you do one and you start to think like, what if I will use another uh, amount of wool, or another pattern, or another fibers, another embroidery. And so you really start boiling with inspiration, with ideas. And it ended up that I couldn't resist. I couldn't stop myself. I made a lot of strawberries, and then I made my hero. I will show you. I made my strawberry finger puppet, because that's what I normally do. It's a finger puppet. So I was so inspired by the strawberries that I made my new creature. It's a strawberry, it's finger puppet, also embroidered. And on top of that, when I created this strawberry, I was so excited. I couldn't really go to bed. I really liked this fantasy creature. So in the morning, I woke up and I made a huge trip by bicycle. I was riding 45 kilometers to the strawberry field to make a photo shoot for this guy, like so. And I consider it is really like inspirational kick, because I was so excited. I wanted to do the best for it, and for sure, soon new friends are coming, because you can never stop with one thing, because you have hundreds of ideas of after every time you create something small. It's really big sparkle. And before we finish, I just wanted to share my like inspirational part. How I started with one tiny strawberry, which is like unnecessary thing, but how it's necessary for creative people. When you stuck, you start with small steps, and this really sometimes something small become something big. This guy will join my vegetable collection. Last year I started it. I have this radish from last year, funny one, radish. Then a friend of him is carrot. Here, carrot. And a friend of carrot, broccoli. Broccoli is like a very much favorite of many of my friends, but I like all of them. And now it's like strawberries here. So now I have already 4 of them. So I will keep going. I will now go to front camera just to say goodbye to you, so you could see me. I'm here. So we are like 1.5 hours of work, exactly like yesterday. If I would be able to chat with you normally and see your toys, see your strawberries, and answer your questions, we would stay a bit longer. But I will be really excited to see your strawberry ready. And if you get some new ideas how to develop the strawberry into something different, I will be very happy to see. You know that you can always write me by email, the same one which you get all my offers, info@bibabopuppets.com. You can also use chats normally, but this one doesn't work now. Maybe it will work later. Then you can also drop here some pictures. But I will be really appreciating if you will write a review and post your strawberries, so I can collect it and show to other people, because many people, they feel it's something difficult, hard to achieve. So I believe it's not. So I will be happy to see your work. And for the future, I know that there are some of my students here who is waiting for my new classes. I'm working hard now to make a new course, which I promised. It's a big hand puppet parrot, quite tricky toy, but very, very beautiful and exciting. And there are more classes coming in autumn. We will make tiny ones. We will make something crazy. I'm sorry that you couldn't join my pair house. This year it will not happen anymore because timetable is completely full. But before New Year, I will have another house made of felt, and I hope it will be very exciting. It will be Christmas house, so a big and interesting game project. We will make a lot of things out of felt, and we will play like children. So exactly like was promised with Pear House. I was very happy to work with you tonight. I can see I can see some of you here online now. I hope you're doing great and looking forward to see your strawberries a bit later. Have a good evening and see you soon in the next classes.